Hi, Jennifer. How is it going? How to deal with pressure in any given situation or while going through a lot of stress. First thing I would say is that there isn't a rule. Each situation is completely unique. Like if we have a conflict with someone, one way is to, I don't know, in different situations, it can be like, you know, uh, really sort of not looking at the situation at all, or it can be really looking at it to see what's really going on. Yeah. So it's always different. But in general, I like just trusting our feelings, going with what's acceptable in the situation and what isn't. Inwardly, like acknowledging how you feel about a situation. If something's not acceptable, the stress happens because we try to conform anyway, even though it's not what we want. So we're going against ourselves. That would be the pressure and the stress. Which part didn't you get fully? I don't understand. How do we see inwardly what is acceptable or what not? I did not get that. Just our feelings. Like somebody talks to us in a certain way, okay? There's something in their tone that's kind of insulting or insensitive, okay? Even though they're pretending to be so polite or whatever. For example, yeah? We might feel that that's unacceptable. Yeah, or someone is rude to us, that's unacceptable. Someone tries to cheat us, that's kind of unacceptable. But we have to acknowledge that way of feeling instead of because of some fear or intimidation to go along with it. You understand what I mean? Like we will always naturally anyway feel what feels nice and what doesn't, right? But we have a tendency to ignore how we feel for to be liked and to be, to not lose our support system and to not be alone and all kinds of things. So, if you really want to get down to the root of things like stress or conflict in life, then those things are the you have to go to the root. And the root is that it's what they call being true to oneself. That's the root. If you're true to yourself, there can't be anything that anyone does to invade your space or anything like that, you know? But it's not easy. Sometimes it's like because of a lot of stress and fear, the approach to inner feelings is just stopped or blocked and no idea how to access it again. But that's all, Jennifer. That's all based on something in the past or something in the future. Yeah, the considerations, those things which create that block which you're talking about, they are thoughts about the future and about the past. It means that if really what's going on without any future, without any past, then there is no blockage to access how we feel. Yeah, we're concerned with, oh, but this person did that to me in the past, so then I'm all worked up because of the past and all the wrongs that have been done to me in the past and stuff like that. Or I'm trying to avoid something happening in the future, or make something happen in the future. So I'm burning up a lot of energy, mental energy for that. Yeah. And because I'm so involved in thinking about it, then I can't feel what's really going on. So that stress and fear that you're talking about, it's related to time. It's related to what's happened before and what might happen or might not happen in the future. And we have to, at some point, all I can say is we have to kind of stand up to the fear or whatever loud noise is, you know? It's just loud noise. We have to kind of silence it sometimes, you know? We don't, it doesn't own us. This voice, it doesn't own us. If you, we, I think we talked about this before. Like if there is a certain determination, like if you yourself actually want to, but that's really the bottom line. That's the bottom line question, whether you actually really want to uh, live without these considerations of conforming, making someone else happy. Um, you know, whether you actually want to live according to your true nature, yeah, or whether you actually want to respect your feelings about what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, what feels incorrect, what feels right, what feels wrong. Yeah. Sorry, it was buffering. Okay, I don't know which part was buffering, but I'm what I'm saying is that uh, there has to be a certain clarity as to what you actually want. People, like, in this context of non-duality, people talk about freedom and all these things, but actually what most people want is to have some end result that will put them in the spotlight. That's really the motivation for most people. Yeah, if they're watching non-duality videos or going to satsangs or whatever, the motivation is to find some kind of elevated state. Okay, so that's a false motivation. But why is it so rare, quote unquote? Because the simplest thing, the real heart's desire, like really what's our deepest wish inside, most people don't even care to get in touch with that. They don't even want to, really, in a way. Okay, our nature is geared towards that anyway, but with all the images we've made of ourselves and all the specialness, or the contrary, all the putting ourselves down, and or all the fear and the guilt and the blame, self-blame, and all that, it drowns that stuff out. Like, yeah, so what I'm all I'm trying to say is that it has to be really clear what you want, you know like, what's the actual motivation? If you really can get in touch with that natural desire to be free, then that solves everything. But the natural desire to be free, not some image of what it might be, and then fall into confusion because, oh, this person said that person said that, but the Buddha thing sounds nice because it's nirvana and so on. No, it's just like, it's as if we kind of, the natural way is to respond, it's not to act. So in this case, to find out how we really feel about something, like what's the real deepest desire, let's say, we will be told that, in a way. Yeah, we will be shown it. It's about listening to it, and then we get a real sense of, like, okay, yeah, I want this and I don't want to compromise for it at all. You understand what I mean? What if we do not feel any motivation? Then that's a choice. If you don't want to, if you you're talking, you were saying about pressure in any given situation. If you don't feel any motivation to get rid of the pressure, then you just live with the pressure, like so many people do. Some people love to be busy and they can't sit still. They really literally can't sit still. They will, if there's a lull, or like a time of quiet or nothing going on, they're going to get busy to do something. And it's always going to be with the excuse of, like, oh, this needs doing, and oh yeah, now I have some time, but all this list I have in my head for so long, I've been meaning to do this, meaning to do that. And it's just to not listen. It's just to maintain that tightrope that they're walking on. Yeah. That's your choice. But you wouldn't ask the question, because obviously you're not asking how can we deal with pressure, because you like it. So there's your motivation already. Not at all. Hey there. Why did you not stream recently? I missed you in your lives. I was busy. I couldn't. Do dreams mean anything? They can, but they don't have to. I mean, they can show us like the kind of the inward truth of a situation, let's say. Yeah. Something that maybe in waking life we're too busy and so we don't stop for a moment to get some clarity. So it comes in a dream. That can happen. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that every dream is some sign or it's processing, some dreams are just it's just processing stuff psychologically. How can we see if they meant something or if it was just a dream? Um by feeling into it, like, you can sort of, I don't know, close your eyes, feel into the whole, how does the dream feel overall? You could try that. If it's like, well, it's too confusing and too tiring to sort of look into, or you just don't want to, then it doesn't mean anything. But if you get some sense, then you just stay with the sense. It'll tell you, you know. It can also be like, it can, if there is something helpful in a dream for a situation, like let's say some conflict is going on with someone, yeah, or in some legal situation, I don't know, whatever, and then you have a dream about the situation, it might show you the hidden motivation of someone, for example, yeah. Someone's not being sincere, or someone is being very sincere who you think is being insincere, stuff like that. But often we don't even remember, right? Or it's too vague, but so that it means that this stuff, it processes anyway. You know what I mean? It's not really important to go looking for and so on. But if we are a little bit attentive and let's say thoughtful in our lives anyway, then we then then we're open to then we might think, huh, a dream might make us think like, huh, and then we might get some sense of like, oh wow, okay. I wonder why this person seemed so nice in this dream when actually I've been um, condemning them all my life, you know? So, yeah, of course, it can tell us something. If it's very fearful, then I don't know, either it means nothing or it's some processing of some repressed emotions, or uh, or it's showing you something that there's nothing to be afraid of something, for example. But like I say, if you don't get some overall sense, you know, it's it's not necessary really to look into them. I think fearful dreams most of the times they it's nothing to look at, you know. It's like, yeah, like I say, maybe it's repressed emotions or some intimidation, you know. The question eats in me. It goes something like that. Why does one person live a good life and others die of, for example, cancer? um, that seems to be like the age-old question, or like the recurring question. Um, hmm. I wish we had a concrete example, you know, someone uh, someone who dies from cancer, and then someone who lives a good life. Hmm. Because you would see in the person who's living a good life, what you say is a good life, some, like, how do you like a sunny, like the sunshine, yeah, like a sunny disposition to life. And the person who's dying of cancer has a kind of a fearful or always worried disposition towards life. Cancer is not natural. Yeah, it's the result of so many different things can lead to it, I guess. Yeah, but it is a thing of re- like repeatedly ignoring what's really going on, or some there will be other wake up calls before something like cancer happens, especially incurable cancer. I mean, not incurable, but like fatal cancer, let's say. Yeah, it's not incurable anyway. um but yeah, it's really all about our disposition to life. That would be the general thing. In an example, you could come up with so many other, you know, individual reasons. There can be so many. Do panic attacks also mean something, or is it a medical condition? No, it's most definitely not a medical condition. Um, yeah, I mean, of course, they're trying to tell us something. Yeah. Okay. I mean, not like it can be, I don't know, I guess someone can have a panic attack and it'll just be momentary thing. But if there's like strong, continuous panic attacks, of course there's something triggering that. But we have the means to go deep and find out what it is. How do we do that? I'll just answer that first. How do we do that to go deep and find the cause of something? Just literally, Jennifer, by going deep. Like if you want to find the cause, if you genuinely want to, and you pluck up that little bit of courage that you need, then you will. The how, you don't even need to think about the how. It will just come in front of your eyes. But like really, what are we doing really, like, yeah, in our life? We're living our life. What are we actually doing? Why would we want to, like, let's say we have panic attacks, okay? So we take some medication, we are given some antipsychotic drugs, whatever it is, yeah? Okay, now I'm taking these, or I can't sleep. So now I'm going to take sleeping pills, and okay, hopefully it's going to be all right. And they're going to make me super tired, and they're going to make me addicted. But okay, well, life's tough, and got to deal with it. Got responsibilities and all that. Yeah. What are we actually doing? We're living our life. So anything that comes up, I can't think of any reason why I wouldn't. Something strong would come up. Why would I not want it to really resolve at the root? And then the how doesn't even come into it. Just the desire, the burning desire to, oh fuck, what's this trying to tell me? Why is this happening? Like, but not in like, oh, why is this happening to me? It's so unfair. No, like really, wow, shit. Okay, this is trying to tell me something. It doesn't enter. Really, I'm telling you truthfully, it doesn't enter into my head why someone would not want to do that, because that's just living a dead life. That's just walking around like a dead person. So it's really just about the desire to know, in a way, not as a knowledge thing, but just to have things resolved, the sincerity required. That can be like a call for help inwardly, like, I don't know what to do anymore. And there's like a natural call for help. It can be, for someone, it can be a meditation, or meaning they'll just sit and they're just like, okay, now everything stop. I just want to sit and just like, what's really going on here? Someone else might, I don't know, go for a hike in nature for the weekend, and just like, okay, let me just come to some, let everything just like settle down a little bit. There's no how for it. Okay, Rankin F. What about cancer happening to children? Yeah, it's another one of those very, very general things. So, hmm, for children, it's very often to do with the parents. Yeah, it's something telling the parents something. Yeah, about claiming the child, for example. For the child, it might be a, I don't know, and like in the, it's a little bit complicated to talk about. So say the point, like, what we are is like, we're energy, or the essence, or whatever you want to call it, taking on unique shapes, let's say, yeah, unique expressions. This energy, which is singular, there is nothing else. it expresses itself in this way, in that way, the curtain, the screen, everything, yeah? All this variety, every seeming thing is completely unique, okay? And each one of those, there's like a stream towards full expression, yeah? Okay, the example of a flower, I guess, is best. A rose, it'll grow and then the flower will come out and then the leaves will fall off and that'll be the end of a certain cycle, right? It's like a human life, birth, death, what we call death. So in that time, there's like a motivation, let's say a natural stream of expression, of natural expression. But because of societal conditions, because of this ego activity, claiming activity, that expression gets stunted. Okay, so when we call what we call reincarnation would be this, it's like a new attempt of that energy to express itself. So it's going to keep happening until there has been a full expression. Okay, so for a child, so let's say like there's been like in a life there's been like a 80-90% expression, you know what I mean? Just I'm just making a painting a picture, okay? So then, or maybe I don't know, through someone else's fate, so to come back in a bodily form and fulfill that expression, maybe a child won't have a very long life, yeah. But the fate, the negativity, let's say, of what we call the difficulty with cancer and all that, that's on the parents. That's telling the parents something. Children are free. There's no claiming going on in children. So they haven't created that, up to a certain age. And then the claiming starts, then it's a different case. Anyway, but yeah, it's not easy to talk about this stuff. Why do some people have, hey Molly, how are you doing? Why do some people have the inclination to dig deeper, whereas other people don't? Because they don't know. I don't know. I don't know why people have the inclination. Everybody has the inclination, actually, but it would be more a case of why do some people choose to ignore it? Because they're dazzled by the lights of recognition from others. Yeah, that would be the bottom line of that. It's too tempting, it's too seductive to have success in this realm, in the outside world, yeah. How do you know that? So why does energy pick that, get lured into that? Well, yeah, it's at the end of the day, so that would be the base of that would be the claiming or the egos, quote unquote. So, and the root of that lies in thought. Yeah, it's at the bottom. It's a mystery. The furthest I can go is that the ability to think, it doesn't make sense unless there is complete freedom to think. That's like freedom. Let's say if energy is free. So I think the what thinking is, it wouldn't make any sense if it wasn't completely free to invent things as well. So the thought that humans are superior, that's like let's say the vanity or the taking this gift that we have of intelligence and saying that intelligence or thinking and language are what makes us special. Yeah. uh, but there has to be like a certain ability to do that. Yeah, that's as much as I can sort of intuit about it. At the end of the day, it's a mystery also. I don't know. How do you know that? I think when we were talking about cancer happening to children, and what I was saying, I think you wrote that then. How do you know that? I don't know that. Um, it's what comes out. It's You could say it's like downloads. Yeah. If I've ever been curious about something like that, then somehow if the curiosity is enough, if I want to know it enough, I will know it, you know? But not as a knowledge. That's why I say it's just painting a picture. You know what I mean? It's not a storehouse of knowledge. Like, I don't know. Like, if someone asks something like this question, it's like, I don't know. First of all, I don't know. But then sort of something comes, it's like I'm you could say I'm just trying my best to put something into words. Yeah. But not something I have some stored knowledge of, I have access to. No. It's more like a spontaneous coming out of what makes sense. Yeah. And the things like what we call reincarnation, the question, like, is reincarnation real? Is it not real? It's kind of too obvious that it's a thing, that it goes on, you know, that it's natural. Or it's a part of things. I don't know. It's like, I don't know, Molly. I tell you what, like, someone on the chat, Denise, was saying once that she had looked at watching YouTube videos about people who have had near death experiences. Yeah, so, or in a coma, or something. And she said, "Oh, it's really interesting. Have you ever seen it?" And so on. I haven't even seen it. I hadn't ever seen it. And as like, how weird is YouTube and Google and things? You ever get that sense that you just talked about something and then something like that comes up on your YouTube? I have no idea how, but one of these uh, uh, near death experience videos came up. So I was like, "Oh, that's what she was talking about." So I had a look. Check them out sometime. It's amazing. They all have there's I watched a few of them. There is such a common thread, yeah, which is always they all vary, obviously, different experiences, but the common denominator is that there is like just love, and there's nothing to worry about. Yeah. And something like, someone is curious about this, so they get shown a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. Um, I mean, some of them are a little bit kooky, but then that's the person who has had this near death experience way back, and now they've just become this authority on the subject. And so it's been claimed, this gift that they've been shown, it's been claimed, yeah. And now they sort of decorate themselves with it. But okay, but there's a lot there that I found it very interesting. It's just cool to see because it's I don't know if I've ever seen a more clear expression, It's very unadulterated because it's someone's the ego is just completely out of the way, right? Because for the outside world, they are like clinically dead, or yeah, or in a coma, so in some suspended state. So um yeah. Amazing. Nice, Jennifer. It's interesting how you explained about children, and it's for parents to see it. I can relate to it after listening to you. Yeah. Nice. At the end of the day, like the topic of reincarnation, yeah, really what I was saying earlier was just like I was saying, like it's just painting a picture, a scenario. But really what it is, it's energy and the natural law. There are no laws, but that energy can't be destroyed, it can only be transformed. Yeah. That's really the whole story. That's already the end of the subject of death. That already shows that there is no death. I had a miscarriage once and we went to see some sadhu, and he said this soul needed only 2 months to do what it needs to do, and it's gone. I thought he is talking bullshit. Why it will come to me if it was going to go and not stay. He said he was not prepared. He said, I was not prepared, so that baby chose my body. I do not know how much it is truth. Yeah, that's, I would say that can be pretty accurate, Jennifer. We don't know why, but there is a certain cycle. Yeah, like with the flower. So how that happens, it's not really up to us. Now you think you believe it after listening to me. Okay. The thing about these kind of topics is really, it makes it brings out the fact that it's important to see that it's not an absolute. Okay, so whatever we're talking about, it's kind of in relative terms. In some sense, it's actually true, the kind of the declaration that not, or the statement that nothing has ever happened. There is no future, there is no past, nothing has ever happened. Yeah, that's why we get the feeling when uh yeah, we get the feeling about some things like, wow, that's, it's like that never happened. Yeah, we're in some big fight or some big deal, and then it's like, oh, it's like it never happened. Or the fact that we go on some weekend break somewhere to some holiday, and then it feels like we've been away for like 2 months when we come back. It's all completely relative, and there's no, ultimately, like when I say something, I might say like, oh, there's like some natural flow. Nothing flows, actually. Nothing. There is no objective reality. Yeah. So it's like nothing ever happened, and those things are true as well. It's at the same time. That's the wholeness of it, the kind of the complementarity. Yeah, instead of the division, it's not a division, it's not two things, it's complementary. It's the non-form and the form. So these kind of explanations, it's like, if this energy, it doesn't have language. Yeah, so we're trying to put something into language, but we're not stating some objective truths. Yeah, so we're just it's good to, it's not important, but it's good to, helpful to remember that we're just having a conversation. We're not here doing any uh making any big statements or declaring any truths which it's then good to hold on to, you know what I mean? Yeah. Here in India, everyone thinks they are sadhus and can say whatever. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, of course, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, you have a keen eye for. It's good that you see that so clearly, Jennifer. You know, there's a lot of there are a lot of cheaters for sure. Not at all. Not at all. Thank you, Jennifer. It's nice chatting with you. I'm glad you pick up something helpful, you know. Hey Jacob, how many consciousnesses are there? There is no consciousness. So zero. Ted, how are you doing, Ted? What's what? Hey, you were saying to be true to yourself. Often I don't feel good in many situations, but I am not sure what to do. Is there something practical to do to get to be true, or is it something everyone must get on one's own, like riding a bike or learning to walk? It's not, this is the thing, it's the difficulty of language. It's not a state to be in, to be true to oneself. It's every day in every little situation. Someone comes to you with some unfair demand, and lots of people are pressuring you to conform to it, but you don't feel it to be right. but you go along with it anyway because you don't want to be the only one or the odd one out, or yeah, or not, or you say no. So now you tell me, in that kind of a situation, is there something practical to do? Is it something you learn, like riding a bike or learning to walk? No. But I will say this: the more you do respond with integrity, yeah, so which would be not to conform, but just to go your own way and think for yourself and make your own decisions and say no according to, or yes according to, what really feels right. The more you do it, the more clarity you have of, yeah, because it's something like, in many cases it's something a little bit forgotten, yeah, like a muscle that you haven't used. So maybe in that sense, okay, you could say it's like riding a bike or learning to walk, but it's a natural thing anyway. Yeah. Zero consciousnesses. Yeah. Well, how many consciousnesses do you think there are, Ted? There is no consciousness. I'm saying there is no consciousness. Consciousness denotes some like energy moving around with like some big eyes. You know what I mean? Like some seeing or something like that. It's basically a declaring that the cosmos or the whole is in humans' image, because there is someone is okay. I tell you what, then, right now this is consciousness, right? Someone, we're all sitting in a room and we're all talking, yeah, and then someone falls unconscious. They hit their head or something, they're unconscious, but the rest of us are conscious. Yeah. Same with awareness. Someone is looking at their phone, so they're not aware. Like, again, we're sitting in a room, there's, I don't know, someone's left, people leave their bags at the back on a table. Someone comes in and takes one of the bags and runs away, so someone's stolen one of the bags, right? Someone is sitting there on their phone and they haven't seen what's going on, so that person isn't aware of it. The others are aware of it because they saw it. That's the end of it. That's the extent to which there are awareness and consciousness. Now, see the difference. See how the way it gets talked about, this consciousness or awareness, that it's also special like this. It's already magic the way it is. The awakeness, yeah? We're talking here. So we're not unconscious. We're not unaware. I'm aware of what's written in the chat. So are you. It's simply no. There is. It's like a step too far to say that there is awareness or consciousness, because if you go into a forest, into as natural environment as possible, let's say, would you say that there's awareness there? It's just life. It's energy. Why do we need to imbue it with some kind of seeing thing? You know what I mean? But okay, I mean, if you want to say that everything is consciousness and the only thing there is consciousness, and you want to give it that name, then okay, yeah. Is there anything else? If not, I will call it a day soon. Sure thing, no problem. Thank you for stopping by. Where are you writing from, Jacob? Hawaii, wow. All right, take it easy. Later.